Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I appreciate the work that's been done, and to my colleague, Mr. McKinley, as well as Mr. Tonko and Lobsack. I appreciate the work that you're doing on this legislation, and it's good to know that someone was listening to me all these years, right? But I would just highlight to this committee that hydropower is the largest renewable in America. And as Mr. McKinley's pointed out, there is huge capacity to expand hydroelectricity, which is a clean, renewable, reliable source of electricity. We could double hydropower without even building a new dam, because only 3% of the dams actually produce hydroelectricity. It would create a lot of jobs, and it would help us reach these important goals. Clearly, hydropower is an essential component to any clean energy plan. And just yesterday, we saw where the majority laid out their, quote, 100 by 50 goal. There's no way we will be able to reach that kind of a goal and reduce carbon emissions without embracing what hydropower is contributing and the potential of it to even do more. While this bill reauthorizes important incentives for hydropower, I want to highlight to the committee that funding is not the roadblock to increasing output. We need to be addressing the relicensing and the licensing of these projects. The licensing currently takes, on average, 10 years. And you compare that to a natural gas facility in America that takes, on average, 18 months. So we are dealing with a regulatory process that needs to be addressed. We all agree that more needs to be done to increase clean energy, reducing emissions, and combat climate change. Hydropower is a solution, and it's not just in the Pacific Northwest. I'm amazed. There's hydropower all over this country. Almost every state utilizes some form of hydro in their energy portfolios. So in previous years, I've introduced and worked with members on this committee, bipartisan, on legislation around Hydropower Policy Modernization Act, which would provide relief from these costly and time-consuming regulations and encourage more incentive in hydropower. Last Congress, this legislation was passed with overwhelming bipartisan support. I would urge this committee to continue to look at how do we promote hydropower in America. Combating climate change cannot continue to be a partisan issue. There will be no progress unless we put political messaging aside and work on real bipartisan solutions. I know the lead Republican, former chairman of this committee, Greg Walden, has highlighted many times bipartisan bills that we could pass today that would make a real impact. And hydropower relicensing reform is one of them. So urge continued focus and commitment to including hydropower. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.